Peppa Pig, the biggest muddy puddle in the world. And if you'd like to buy this book, check out the link in the description down below. Once upon a time, Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig were tugging Peppa and George into bed. "There's so much rain," Peppa said. "That means there will be lots of muddy puddles to jump in tomorrow," Mummy Pig smiled. The splish, splash, splosh of raindrops on the window sang Peppa George to sleep, dreaming of muddy puddles. While Peppa and George slept, it rained and rained and rained. It rained so much that the next morning when Daddy Pig ran out to jump in a muddy puddle, he landed straight into a massive pool of water. "Oh, who put all this water here?" Daddy Pig said as he swam back to the house. "And where are all the muddy puddles?" asked Peppa. "Our house is like a desert island," Peppa laughed, looking at the water. "Oh dear," Mummy Pig said. "How will we get our food?" Granny and Grandpa Pig arrived on their boat. "Ahoy there," Grandpa Pig said. "Wonderful boating weather." "Do you need anything from the shop?" Granny Pig asked. "Can we come too?" Peppa said. "Yes, then you can help us get shopping for everybody." "Polly can be our shopping list. She's very good at remembering things," Granny Pig said, beaming at Polly. "Who's a clever parrot?" "Squawk! Who's a clever parrot?" Polly copied. Polly was good at copying what people said. Peppa, George, Grandpa, Granny Pig and Polly Parrot sailed across the water. It was almost as fun as jumping in a muddy puddle. Each house was like its own desert island. They sailed from house to boat to submarine, asking people if they needed anything from the shop. "Do you need anything from the shop?" "Chocolate, please," Susie Sheep said. "Squawk! Chocolates!" Polly Parrot copied.
"A newspaper and a comic, please,"
Grandad Dog and Danny Dog said. "Squawk! Newspaper, comic," Polly Parrot copied. "Cheese, please," Grumpy Rabbit said. "Squawk! Cheese," Polly Parrot replied. When Grandpa Pig's boat arrived at the supermarket, Miss Rabbit was all alone. "Silly, isn't it? A little bit of rain and everyone stays at home. What can I get you?" "Polly has a list," Peppa said proudly. "Squawk!" Polly Parrot opened her beak and said, "Who's the clever parrot? Who's the clever parrot?" "Oh dear, Polly Parrot has forgotten the list." Luckily, Peppa remembered what everyone wanted. Grandpa Pig sailed back from their submarine to boat to house. "Cheese," said Peppa said.
"Thank you, Peppa,"
Grampy Rabbit said. "Newspaper and comic," Peppa said.
"Thanks, Peppa,"
Grandad Dog and Danny Dog said. "It was lucky Peppa was going to the shop," said Mummy Sheep, "or else we'd have nothing for dinner." "Here's a chocolate, Susie," Peppa said. "Oh," said Mummy Sheep. Peppa and George arrived back home in the evening. "Did you have fun sailing with Grandpa?" Mummy Pig asked. "Yes, I remembered what everyone wanted." "Oh," Peppa yawned. "But there was no muddy puddles." George snorted in agreement.
"Maybe there will be some muddy puddles tomorrow," Daddy Pig said.
The next morning, the sun was shining brightly in the clear blue sky. Polly Parrot flew with a spring of leaves in her beak to show them all that water had gone. She landed on Grandpa Pig's boat that has now sunken on Peppa's front lawn. "Oh," Granny Pig said, looking out from the boat. "I wonder what kind of mess the flood has left." The houses that were once desert islands were now back to normal, sitting on top of their hills. The water that Peppa and George sailed through was now gone, and instead of the bottom of Peppa and George's hill was the biggest muddy puddle in the world. The end.